I'm going to share here about the presents that I have decided to give out for the holidays this year. And first, we have the Guetia names in glow-in-the-dark upon a cord. We have the Shemham Forash names on a cord. You know, this would be better for yoga or right-hand path, and this would be better for tantra or left-hand path. And well, no, not really. They both be for that sort of thing. But the thing is that even if you are referring to these things with a Yechidi or a Chets, the power to identify or associate or disassociate and separate yourself from. We are distinct. We are between the two. And I would have these hanging for years. I had these hanging over my bed, and I had them hanging in another location also over my bed. So that's what they meant to me. It wasn't that I was worshiping, you know, the demons, evoking them and evoking angels. That wasn't my intention at all. My intention with it was a cosmological statement, a mystical thing of, you know, here's the path working where you can work through these areas. Now, are you going to become a light being or a fire being? No. But, you know, you can be of the same purpose, or you can accomplish for yourself in your life what these, you know, what people that are going to rely on these beings, that people might call the Anunnaki or the Elohim, and actually get these things done in one's own spiritual life. Now, the next thing we may say is we have this. Now, you know, one of those champion cups or something like this. But the mystical vessel, the container of the emotions, of the inner side, of the intellectual side even, but not intellectual on the side in the sense of cups or something, but further, we can say connected to a site that I've done videos at. Someone ended up with this. They don't know which grave it came off of, but this is a connector to the energy of, I guess, several of the videos that I've done. Now, we didn't intentionally take it. We just don't know where it was. And it would have been thrown away like all sorts of stuff in that graveyard anyways. It doesn't appear that anyone has came to do anything there. So nobody, people weren't walking off with that particular one. That's all we know. We don't know really where it was. This, if you turn to my eclipse playlist, you'll see the Xoran Splik sigil, which was basically marking the event of the eclipse. And I had an experience, but that is what relates to there. So I thought one of the two that were present for that ritual, that would be an important thing that, you know, might be good to get in a different part of the world or something. And we have the ring here, meaning, you know, a mood ring. The aura. The aura is a thing of light, heat, moisture, and magnetism. Now, a lot of New Agers are going to want to judge you because of your aura. But a mood ring is a way of practicing the manipulation of the heat that one puts off, that you see if you can change the mood ring. So your supposed emotion or your supposed character that people are going to associate, oh, their mood rings this or that or the other. Not only is some of those beliefs are actually racist, because if you're Teutonic or you're North Asian, like Mongolian or something in particular, you're going to have more of those brown fat cells putting off warmth. So when other people are going to be cold to the touch, you're going to be warm, and it's not going to have anything to do with that. And others, it could be, what you're eating. If you're eating your whole grains and your uncooked nut seeds or even fruit oil or vegetable oil, and you're eating fish and stuff like that, so you're going to respond differently than other people. Now, we could say that in the center is the Ace of Cups, so sort of the inspiration coming in. Swords is kind of on the same lines, but it's like something coming out, right? And so we have from the Two of Cups to the Ten of Cups, we have love, abundance, luxury, disappointment, pleasure, debauch, indolence, happiness, and satiety. And it's all about holding to the inner side. It's all about working with the inner side of one's being. Now, and we can move on a little bit to some other cards. We have the Four of Discs, which is a power card. We can look at the colors and the different patterns on the thing, but there's basically it. Whichever context anybody wants to put any of this stuff in, it's totally up to them. We have the Four of Wands, which is a completion card. We have the Six of Wands, which is a victory card. And notice how each card has a hint of the opposite thing. Like the Earth and Fire switch places in the Age of Aquarius. The Water and Earth have switched signs. So the signs that they represent. So here we have the Nine of Wands, which is the Strength card. And we move on to the Earth. The Earth card, we have certain Shimhan Forash signs, as I'm saying. I don't intend this. I intend these symbols to represent a variety of the year. Like, these. You can say the whole year is represented in its duality by those two sets of 72. So each of these symbols here is thus shown. Now, we have what the Earth signs were in a former age. And that's sort of what's hidden at with this, is now things are a fire sign. With the court cards, a fire, we're having the hint at the Earth. Of course, in Earth, the symbol is pilgrimage, whether it's an inner journey or whether it's a real outer pilgrimage too. And here, the quadrant sigil reminds us of striving, of war, of charity even. And charity is a straight up duty, and charity can be a difficult thing. Although I find it more difficult on me to spend my money in terms of my expenses outside of my monthly expenses that I have to spend all the time. It's easier for me. It's not as much of a stress when it's charity. I do pay attention. I don't just give without regard to self-preservation to the point where I'm going to be asking for something that's not right to expect on people anyways. But the princess sits on the throne, and the prince being Virgo getting a unicorn, and Taurus, of course, having that bull's head. But the thrones are less active. I think the most active thrones are, well, they're all more active than Earth, really. But fire, you don't know what's going to happen with fire. And of course, I like to use dimensions and glow in the dark and all that stuff. And we have, well, each of these have 6 Shemhamphorash ones. We have the archangel name, Mishal, Mikal, Mikal, Mishal, Mukal, Mushal. So fire has the most variation in terms of what we're using here. And so we got a king, we got a queen, we got a prince. But Leo is the chief animal of fire, as we now know. But the lion turning green up. It's playing this game with me. I'm trying to back up. Yes. So in orange we have a causal plane temple. We have in yellow a soul plane temple, which is really where the spiritual realms start. But I mean, spirits and matter, right? We have an astral plane or emotional projection temple. Believe what you will and do what you will with these things, but you got your drives and your material for your drives here. But this is the Yud. Obviously, you got all the Yuds. But given these cosmological statements, I don't know. I could talk a lot more on each of these, I think, but I wanted to keep it brief. Whatever beliefs you want to take out of it or put into it, that's fine. But each of these is designed as some sort of a temple arrangement. Like a person can literally have just one card, or they can have an arrangement of cards, whether all the same suit or whatever the deal is. Edom Mubarak.